Now we're going to talk about sharing your content online through social media. We're going to talk about all of the different major ones, what you can expect on there, being a blogger, what's the claim to fame to each of the social media platforms, how you can use each one to leverage your blogging brand and your blog post. So let's get started with the OG, which is Facebook page/group. Now, the Facebook page is not what I'm really going to focus on right now. It's good to have one just for any kind of future sponsorships that you may want to do. Sometimes I just like to go through all your social media and make sure you're there. Plus, you don't want anyone starting a Facebook page in your name and they're imitating you. So you can just have the handle. You can use a scheduling system like Buffer just to get some of your Facebook posts scheduled. You can also just use the Facebook Creator Studio and schedule your posts from there for free. What we're really going to focus on today is the Facebook group, because this is how you can leverage Facebook the most as a blogger. It is here where you're going to build your relationships. It's a great place for conversation. You can go back and forth, really get to know the readers, because everyone who seeks out your Facebook group and actually requests to join, answer your questions, because you're going to want to have different criteria before you let them in your group. You want them to answer questions to kind of spam people who are just getting in the group to kind of cause havoc. But this is a great place to get the conversation started, and then this is one of the places where some of your super fans start to build. Also, you can use your Facebook group as a place to post your blog post. Over on my Facebook group, it's where solo and adult travelers who love going to theme parks, this is where we meet. We talk each week. I have at least one blog post that I post regarding to solo traveling at the theme parks. And then it is also a place where I get new ideas for content, because I have another weekly, sometimes monthly, more so monthly question that I'll put up as to what are some of the challenges that you face when planning out your solo vacation. So if you have that gardening website, you can say, what are some of the challenges that you face when you're growing your tomato plants? People will start listing out their challenges. That can be a blog post. That can be a video. That can be some of the questions that they give you can be in addition to a blog post you may already have, but you just didn't have that question in the blog post. You just add it to your blog post. Now, another thing that I like about the Facebook group is that you can build your email list here. When you are joining Facebook groups, they have some questionnaires that you have to answer to join. This could be an opportunity while somebody's answering a question that you can put in the question field to say like, hey, if you're looking for some more tips, be sure to download your beginner's guide to gardening in Florida. You can have that in the question field. You don't have to have it there for them to sign up for your email list to join the group. It's just there so that there's always continuous eyes on your email list, which we're going to discuss later. This is also, like I said, a place to make weekly posts. You want to have weekly recurring posts, especially in the beginning of your Facebook group career. A lot of times, no one's going to talk. When you have less than probably about 100, nobody talks. They're there, but nobody wants to really talk. That's kind of like how it would be in school. You just be quiet. So you as the owner, you're going to have to do prompts each week. So for example, Mondays, I talk about solo travel. So I might put up something where I have a picture of me out in the parks doing something solo, and I might ask a question. What's your favorite theme park to go alone? And I'll put that there. And then Wednesdays, I might do Wednesdays where I link out to a blog post where I'm giving the best packing list for a solo trip to Walt Disney World. That's what I'll do on Wednesdays. So Mondays will be more of an image-based post where I do a question. Wednesdays will be where I am linking out to one of my blog posts so I can get that traffic. And then Fridays, this is where I get the most engagement, is when I say, let's see your latest theme park photos. People get to share all their photos because people love sharing, but you have to prompt them. And so I'll schedule it out on Facebook. I will schedule it for a month in advance. And that's how I make sure my Facebook group is still going. I'm getting traffic to my blog. I'm building a connection. And I'm getting to know people that will help me build my email list and help me create better content for the future. Now we're going over to Pinterest, which I love but hate Pinterest because it was a great platform. I say was because I'm still on the fence with it. And not just because it gave me traffic, but what it stood for. It was really focused on bloggers and creators at the beginning, where we could help curate content that Pinterest could share to their audience. And in exchange, when you created content or what they call a pin, that you could add a link to your website and get traffic. That's where I started getting the majority of my traffic at the beginning. The algorithm was different then, of course, like all things. They change and the traffic isn't as good, but I do think it is a place to still have some time dedicated per month to it. And it still can increase your traffic, so you can have this in conjunction with SEO to help get traffic to your website. You're going to also want to look at your Pinterest feed. And based on the things you interact with, you're going to see what kind of pins Pinterest is sending you. And with those pins, they'll give you ideas of how to create your pin that pops on Pinterest. I play around with colors a lot on Pinterest. I have a lot of success with hues of blue, but not too dark, yellows, but not too bright yellow where it washes out when someone's on their phone. You have to always think about the psychology of a person going on any website. What makes them stop? So when you're on Pinterest, look at what makes you stop on your feed. Also use Canva to get the templates. And so if you're on Pinterest and you have a blog post about the 5 best hibiscus plants to grow in Florida, you'll create you a pin like this. Pins, you want them in a rectangle, and Canva do all this. Just go to Canva, type in Pinterest, and you'll get the exact dimensions for Pinterest. And then you'll say 5 best hibiscus plants in Florida. So your pin will be basically like a keyword that they're both looking on Google and Pinterest, and then you might have some photo in the back that pops out. You might have a photo of like a hibiscus in the background. So that's just like an example of how you can use Pinterest. I want to make sure that I give you the basics, because usually Pinterest will get its own module, but you just don't know what's going to pop anymore. There used to be a formula, but I say pin 3 to 5 times a day. You can use a scheduler like Buffer. I use Buffer. You can also schedule on Pinterest for free. You can use Tailwind, but I have to give you a warning. Sometimes Tailwind is a little bit slow. I don't know if they fixed that, but that was the problem I had with Tailwind. But you can use that too. And the best times to post for Pinterest are between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Those are just the best times that you're going to get the optimum eyes on your pin. Now, what I like to do is for every blog post that I create, I like to create a pinnable image so that when I want to share it on Pinterest, all I have to do is hit like a little share button on the website that you can see right now. I'm gonna put an example right here. And then when I share it, all of the images from that blog post will pop up. I'll choose the Pinterest pin that I particularly made, and then I'll put it to one of my Pinterest boards. Now, boards are what you can think about similar to categories on your blog. You're going to have a board on Disney World board. I have a Universal Orlando Resort board. I have a Cedar Point. So categories that I talk about, different theme parks, they all get their own unique board on Pinterest. And whenever I'm about to pin a blog post, I just put it into the board that correlates with that topic. Now let's move on to Twitter, the place on the internet which is chaotic at times. Here in Twitter, you can still use it for your advantage. It's a place where you can kind of get deep into conversation with people from across the world. You want to get out there and converse with people, not always promoting your stuff. I like to schedule across all the board because I just have to have my content out there every day. The only thing when you schedule all your content across all of the social media using tools like Buffer or Hootsuite is that each day you still have to go in there and participate in the app, so that the app algorithm can see that you're actively engaged. And Twitter is the main one for this. You want to you want to retweet other people's tweets, and you want to comment on them. Twitter is a place where it's like a two-way exchange. You have to share people's stuff and they'll share yours. So you have to constantly do that. And you want to constantly look for people to follow, because Twitter is still one of the old school places where when you follow somebody, they'll actually follow you back if they find your content interesting. I still post blog posts on Twitter. I'm not so good at the conversation part on Twitter because it's just not my social media of choice, but I do like going in there occasionally, talking to people, hearting their tweets and retweeting. Also, you want to get into spaces. Some industry spaces are very popular. Others, not so much, but you still want to be a part of the conversation. You still want to maybe have to start your own space and then that'll build your brand. And of course, people start noticing you doing a lot of spaces, they're going to follow you to your website and want to learn more about you. So definitely think about that. Another thing I want you to remember is on Twitter, when you share things like infographics, they get shared a whole lot, retweeted. And that's for basically a lot of the social media, but mainly Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. You share infographics on there, you'll get a lot of engagement. Now let's move on to IG, aka Instagram. And this place is not so much where you're going to get a lot of traffic from, but you will build brand awareness. And it's also an opportunity to show behind the scenes of how you go about your day, what you're thinking about. People like to see that. I know some of us who watch vlogs on YouTube, they can be just putting up groceries, but it's just because you just like to see someone you already connect with on their regular content, seeing them do everyday things. People love that. So show behind the scene things of you writing an article, taking your dog for a walk, making some coffee. Someone to say, oh my God, what kind of coffee is that? Oh, it's such and such. Oh my God, where do I get it? If you have an affiliate link, you might be able to send it to them, but you don't want to just approach it that way. But it's just so many opportunity to kind of get in deeper with the person following your brand. Also, this is the time where you increase a lot of engagement around the type of content you're posting. On your blog post, sometimes you don't get comments. Just sometimes people just don't want to comment on a blog post. But on a Instagram post, no matter if the likes are what you may consider low, there's always people who want to talk to you. And that's your opportunity to talk back. Ask questions in your caption. Also, you want to think about vertical images for Instagram. I have been doing a lot of testing on Instagram to see what works. I have done horizontal, I have done square, I have done vertical. And right now, as the recording of this Blogging Academy, outside of Reels, I feel like vertical images work the best. Followed behind vertical images are square, and then behind square is horizontal. Horizontal is very, very small. So I think just the vertical taking up so much real estate, that's where you want to be. So you want to post vertical images. Make sure they're good quality images. You don't have to go all out, but put them in Canva, spruce them up a little bit. And then you have Reels. Reels are the short form content, and this is where you want to spend some time with Reels because that helps grow your brand. And with Reels, you want to repurpose it to be an ideal pin. And you also want to repurpose it for shorts on YouTube and TikTok. So you create your reels for whatever platform you resonate with the most, and then post them on there. Don't waste that content. If you have a blog post that is the 5 best hibiscus flowers in Florida, when you create that reel, the first reel on the first page, you might say, like on a video, you might say 5 best hibiscus plants in Florida. And then on the next scene, when it goes over to the next scene, you'll say number 1, the Fort Myers flower. And then you have a video slowly showing the Fort Myers hibiscus flower. And you put some music, trending music on the platforms, boom, that's it. And because you have a blog post, you can do a whole week of that. So tomorrow will be number 2, and then at the end of the week, you have the 5 best Monday through Friday. And you can turn them all into one long video on YouTube after you post them as shorts and reels and ideal pins. That's just a way to kind of repurpose your content. You don't have to keep reinventing the same stuff over and over, trying to figure out how you want to do your content. Now we're going to talk about linking your blog posts in your stories. This is what Nicole Mickle talked about on one of our Instagram talks earlier this year. And she talked about linking your blog posts in your stories. Most people have access to links in their Instagram stories, even if you have less than 10K followers. So as you're sharing a story, you're giving people all this beautiful stuff. You know in your mind that you are leading up to that, hey, if you want the full guide on the 5 best hibiscus, check out the link below or get them all here. And then some people do click on them. Some people are seeing success with people clicking on links from their stories. So don't forget that. Now we're moving on to the big person that is YouTube. And it is my absolute favorite social media platform because it is so powerful. It can change your brand. It can change the projection of your life. And for me, when you hear me, Once you get your blogging rhythm going, you need to start investing time in a YouTube channel, because you need your blog and your YouTube channel to work together. Trust me. Please do that. If you don't take anything else away from the Blogging Academy, is to focus on YouTube once your blog is starting to get going. Now, like I said, this is a powerful brand and community builder. There's nothing like talking to someone on video. I had years where I would not show my face, and it was for a lot of reasons. And one of the main reasons was, one, I didn't want anyone to judge me on my writing. They put my face and like, oh, she sucks at writing. And then two, I'm a Black woman, and I didn't want anyone to see me Black first and then was like, well, I don't want to read your content. And that's something I still struggle with today, even on YouTube. But video is still powerful, and you still have to push yourself out there. I still had to push myself out there, even though I was uncomfortable, because I knew it was going to be someone out there who still needed the content from someone who looked like me. So I had to push beyond my insecurities. And I hope that if you have any kind of insecurities that you're feeling about getting online, just try it. Just push through. You'll see a big difference when you start showing your face, connecting the brand with video. It's so powerful. Also, the reason why I say to make sure you get your blog on point before you get to YouTube, because YouTube takes time to understand. You may watch it, but when you start watching it from the lens of a creator, you start noticing nuances. You start noticing what the platform rewards, how it puts certain videos out there in front of people, and you want to watch it. You want to watch, why was I scrolling and I clicked on that thumbnail? When you notice you stop at a thumbnail, screenshot it and create a folder in your phone called YouTube, so that you can go back and look at those thumbnails and those titles with the thumbnails. So when you're ready to create your YouTube channel, you got like blueprints, because they worked on you. So you know, like if you use that blueprint in the future, it'll help you create thumbnails and titles better. Now, this is another thing I like to talk about with YouTube, is that you can convert your blog posts into engaging videos. A lot of YouTubers, when they're first starting out, they have a hard time just creating a script. And the script becomes like a buffer in between them and recording the video. But you being a blogger, your script is basically written already. If you have 100 quality blog posts, that means you have 100 videos that are possible on YouTube. The only thing you have to do at that point is figure out how to tell the story of the blog post that keeps someone engaged on YouTube. And that goes starting with your thumbnail. Getting great with creating your thumbnail, using Bramework to help you create that title, and then get in there, be confident, get on that camera, tell the story, start learning how to edit. You're not going to be good at the beginning, but who cares? You are starting, you are getting out there. And with each video, you're going to get great. Some of the people I love following on YouTube for advice is Daryl Ease and Roberto Blake. They are incredible. They have the best advice on YouTube, and they will help you get started. Now, another thing I like to say is make sure you use the keyword people are searching for on YouTube along with a great title from Bramework. Now, what I mean by the keywords that people are using on YouTube is when you go into the box of YouTube, just like Google, and you start searching hibiscus, what are the other things that populate behind it that you don't even type? That lets you know some of the keywords that people are searching for on YouTube. And you can also use tools like TubeBuddy to help you do keyword research and vidIQ. But for me, I'm a blogger, so I've done a lot of keyword research. So all I'm gonna do is figure out the keyword that I used on my blog post. How would a viewer search that keyword on YouTube? So all I would do is tweak the keyword on YouTube, and then if I'm talking about the 5 best hibiscus plants in Florida, my title for my YouTube video might be hibiscus plants in Florida. 5 most amazing plants, 5 most amazing flowers you can plant today. Something like that. Catchy titles to get person to click. And you definitely, if I'm thinking about that thumbnail, I might think about different hibiscus flowers kind of being on the thumbnail, very bright. Make sure you have like a background that's like that blue, sky blue. And then I might say top 5 in the corner, or do this with an arrow. But that's the kind of stuff you want to go on YouTube. You want to study the thumbnails on YouTube. If you're like feeling overwhelmed with trying to learn the title, thumbnail, editing, you can use Fiverr, but know that you're going to have to spend money. So you're either going to spend your time learning this stuff at the beginning until you can make some money with your blog, Or you can go to Fiverr and help people do the stuff in each step of creating your video from start to finish. You already got the script, so you just find somebody who has great reviews on thumbnails, give them your vision, send them samples of thumbnails you're thinking about, and then you can use somebody to help you edit on YouTube. And one thing you want to think about with your YouTube is everything we're doing is to build brand awareness, increase the traffic to our blog. So in your descriptions of your YouTube videos, be sure to always link back to a blog post that's relevant to that video. So if you already have one about the hibiscus plants, go on your blog post, make sure you link it in your description. Your description box in YouTube needs to be like a mini blog post. You don't want to put too much in there, but you want to give tips that have like nice fleshed out keywords. You want to use that opportunity to link back to a blog post, link to a relevant video on your YouTube channel, and to also link to an affiliate so you can earn some commission. And don't forget to link to an email list. That's so important. Now we're on to the last one of the newcomers of the social media world, and that is TikTok. It's a place for you to just get some information quickly. And right now it's at a phase where your brand can just blow up quickly on a viral video. It's way easier to have a somewhat viral video on TikTok than any other platform. And right now it all starts with that hook. So if we're going back to our hibiscus example, I might say something like, this is the best hibiscus plant I've ever seen in Florida. You see somebody like, what is it? And now you go into the details of it, but you always want to keep your videos short. You want to have a point or two. You want to keep your videos on TikTok between, like, I'd say 15 to 18 seconds if you're doing these type of videos where you're kind of talking, and you want to keep it short, get to the point. You say, this is the plant, tell them what hibiscus plant it is, why it's the best one, show the imagery of it being pretty, and then say like and follow for more Florida gardening tips. You just want to get straight to the point on TikTok. Now, another thing you want to make sure you do is that you use trending sounds. I have tried videos on TikTok with and without trending sounds, especially songs, and unfortunately, a lot of them do better with trending sounds. Some don't, but the ones that don't do as well with trending sounds, you have to really nail in that hook, nail in that video, and get straight to the point, because the attention span on TikTok is this much. So you have to really be very concise. You cannot be long-winded with your blog post. So you have to remember that. And you also may want to jump on a trend. Now, you may not want to be somebody dancing because I don't do the dances, but if there's some kind of voice over where people are like, I love it when you do da da da, and then you like flip to another scene. I'm not a TikToker, but if you are on there, you know what I'm talking about. Switch it for your niche. Make it work for your niche. I have an example. There was a famous Kevin Hart soundbite that went viral when he was interviewing Don Cheadle, and Don Cheadle just did his face. So I jacked that trend, and I did it for going to theme parks by myself, and I'm gonna show you it right here. No, actually, I go to Disney Universal by myself.
Damn. I'm sorry.
So that's just an example of how you can jump on trends for your TikTok that still are in line with your brand. Now we're going to want to make sure that you answer comments. The thing with TikTok is the comments, the people on TikTok, it's like way more intense than Twitter. They have no filter. You have to have some thick skin, but you also can put parameters in place to make sure that your comment section stay clean for your brand. That's another thing across all the social medias. If you ever plan on working with sponsors in the future, or you just want to have a good brand, you want to make sure that your comment section is not toxic. You don't want to make it an environment where people can go back and forth and hurt each other. And you don't want to make an environment where someone's always talking about, oh, you're this and that. No, this is your environment. Protect your peace, protect your space, protect your brand. And with those comments, you want to answer them, be as polite, but if somebody's not acting right, boot them. I don't care, I'll block. And also, this is an opportunity for you to reply to those comments who may have questions with another video on TikTok. You can just do a quick one. You don't have to be all fancy. That's what I like about TikTok. You don't have to be fancy. You can just pop the camera on and just start talking. You don't have to have high quality production. You can mix it up with those kind of, did you know these are the best things to do in whatever city, with just ones where you're just talking and chit-chatting. Don't always have to look for things to go viral with, because the more videos you do on TikTok, the more people trust you and want to come back to your page all the time to see what you're talking about. Another thing you want to make sure you do on TikTok is to use the right hashtag. When I first got on TikTok, everyone was saying use the hashtag that's trending, even if it didn't make sense for what you were doing. I don't believe that. I don't want to just use the For You page. It was a hashtag For You, a hashtag FYP. I wanted my hashtags to be specific to what I was talking about, because when someone was looking for something, I wanted to make sure I optimized my description box, my title of my TikTok. I am a blogger, so all this stuff, when I'm writing captions, everything, I think about blogging first. I think about making sure Google can find it on any of these platforms. I make sure that it's readable, and when I'm using the hashtags, I treat those hashtags as keywords on everything. So if I know somebody's looking for a certain keyword, I am going to use that keyword, so when they're searching, they can find my content. One of the tips is to study the platform. Like I said, it's a different type of platform, and this goes for everything. Study each platform. Study how people interact with the content on the platforms. That way, you may be repurposing all the content for every platform, but you know how to tweak it to make it special to that platform. Have fun. This is one of those platforms that's still in that phase where you can just have fun with it. Your main income isn't coming from that. You're trying to get your main income to come from your blog. So you want all this stuff to work for you to get it to your blog. And your TikTok, you may have a viral video. Make sure you are ready. Your blog is ready. Your email opt-in is ready. When that viral thing blow up and they're like, who is this person? And they click on that link. So I hope this helps you understand why social media is so important to your blog, your website, and your business. You cannot have a successful blog without having a successful online presence through social media.